So if you're the average student, you've probably been making mind maps like this your whole life. No, you cannot be making it like that anymore. And I know it may work for a lot of people, but just hear me out. Try this new method that I'm going to show you today, and I can almost guarantee you it's going to change the game for you. First of all, you need to prepare a key list of terms. So for example, I'm going to use the example of cell biology. So a key list of terms that I can just like pull out from like my brain would be things like mitosis, meiosis, binary fission, I don't know, organelles, organizations. So I've written them down here, like mitosis, meiosis, organelles, organization, types of cells, animal and plants, bacteria, prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and binary fission. So you're basically just blurting out key terms that you can remember from that topic. Once you have a set of key terms, it's probably going to be mixed up in the sense that some of them are main topics and some of them are subtopics. So you want to separate them out and like get rid of the subtopics and put it into like umbrella main topics. So for example, I can see mitosis, meiosis, and binary fission. That can fit into just cell division as a main topic. Then things like organelles and organization, those are already main topics on their own. And then plant and animals, those are eukaryotic cells, and then bacteria are prokaryotes. So I can just cut animal, plant, and bacteria out and put the two main topics, eukaryotes and prokaryotes. So those are my main topics there: cell division, organelles, organization, eukaryotes, and prokaryotes. So once you have your main topics, what you need to do is then plot them down. Plot those concepts down on your piece of paper. But before you can plot them down, you need to figure out how these main topics relate to each other. You need to organize these ideas into various groups and categories by finding these connections between them. The mind map should reflect how these ideas are organized in your mind. They shouldn't be linear. For example, if you were to just write linear notes, like a bunch of like notes, everything that you can remember, that's basically blurting. But that's not how it appears in your mind. It's not just like one whole fat chunk of text in your mind. Of course, it's going to be connected. Things lead on to another. You have trains of thought. You have these neurons with these different connections between them. That's how your notes should be as well. They should have connections between them, just as they present in your brain. They shouldn't be linear, which is why you need to group the concepts together. If you're just doing a normal mind map, you probably have like cell biology, this like nice bubble in the middle, and then you'd have these like subtopics coming off, like eukaryotes, prokaryotes, and then organelles, and then organization, and you just randomly like write all the notes around these like bubbles. Like, although that may work in a sense of blurting, it's not going to stick in your head in the sense that it's not creating connections between them. It's not reflecting how it's organized within your mind, which is why you need to connect them first. For example, I can probably connect these terms, cell division, prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and organelles and organization, in order of like the cell formation. So in order for me to like form the cell first, I need to have cell division to form the actual cell. Then I'm going to say that once I divide the cells up, then I end up with like prokaryotes after doing binary fission, for example. And then I go on to eukaryotes. And obviously this isn't scientifically accurate in the sense that a prokaryote is not a lesser version of a eukaryote. But just for example's sake, and just so it forms this kind of abstract connection in my head, I'm just going to imagine it like a eukaryote is basically a more advanced version of the prokaryote, which in a sense it is, because it's more advanced in the sense it has more organelles, membrane-bound organelles, it has a nucleus. And then we're going to talk about organelles, like the different types of organelles. So that's next, because it's a more advanced level of organization, as at least it is in my head, even though scientifically it isn't really. Then once you have the fully formed cells, you have organization, so you form tissues, organs. So I have like this kind of flow chart here that I've made in terms of like the formation of a cell. I know it's not 100% scientifically accurate, but that's how I connect it in my brain, and that's the kind of thing you would need to do to form these different kinds of connections. I also might like represent it as a pyramid, so I have cell division at the bottom, and then this is more accurate. I'll have like prokaryotes coming up and then eukaryotes coming up on separate arrows from this bottom pyramid of cell division. Then they both connect to form organelles, because obviously they both have organelles, just different types of organelles, and then an arrow comes off to form organization. But then from here I can create a little divide here between organelles and organization on the prokaryote side, because I know prokaryotes do not actually form whole organ systems and organisms, whereas eukaryotes do. So in order for this to work, you wouldn't just use arrows. For example, here I use the divide. You can also use things like scales, rankings. For example, I can do a scale here where I have almost like level of, not organization, level of complexity of an organelle. So on this side, because it's a prokaryotic cell, if I write it here, these aren't going to be as advanced as some of the organelles on this side, and obviously there's going to be crossover, so I'd write nucleus here, whereas on this side I'd probably have like DNA over here. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm using these different kinds of visual tools to help organize the information in my head and then write it down on the paper how it would be organized in my head. Then obviously maybe here I can write down cell division because they both lead towards prokaryotes and eukaryotes. So in this way you're supposed to use like these different scales, rankings, arrows, flowcharts, divides to form these, to represent on the paper how it's all connected within your head. Once you've plotted the main concepts onto your page, you then need to look for more interconnections between the topics to further create more connections within your head. So relationships between other topics could include things like relationships due to severity, relationships due to location, relationships due to cause and effect, consequences, time, things like that. So for this you would need to start plotting a little bit, and then here I can see a connection between cell division down here and the nucleus and no nucleus over here, and I can draw a little line from nucleus to cell division, and I can talk about mitosis, prophase, where the nuclear envelope disintegrates, and then with no nucleus towards cell division I can talk about binary fission. Your notes don't need to be verbal. Try to include doodles and cut out words bit by bit whenever you can. I know it's really tempting to just default to writing whole chunks of text and everything. That's not going to help it stick in your head. Like I said before, images are processed by our brain much faster than blocks of text, so try and include doodles. So instead of actually writing nucleus, you can maybe like draw a little circle with a squiggle inside. Obviously the circle would represent the nuclear envelope and the squiggle inside would represent the DNA, and then with no nucleus you can draw like a little squiggle for the DNA and then like little circles to represent the plasmids. Try to make your visuals a bit more personal as well. Be creative and expressive with metaphors and analogies. So for example, I really like bubble tea, and I know that within the cell, the cytoplasm is represented as like the soup, and then the organelles are like the stuff within the soup. I would use things like a bubble tea, where I'd draw out a bubble tea and then I'd put like, you know, the actual tea would represent the cytoplasm, and then the boba, you know, the boba and the chewy stuff, the tapioca within the bubble tea, I'd represent it as those as the organelles. For example, the nucleus is one boba, and you'd have like the Golgi body with the vesicles, those are like more boba, and then I don't know, the endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes, mitochondria, they're all other bobas. And then I draw like a slightly smaller bubble tea to represent the prokaryotes. You get what I mean? Using different metaphors and analogies to make your doodles a bit more personal to you, because obviously personal stuff, you're able to remember it better than stuff that isn't personal, because when it's personal, it's more meaningful. Once you have all the doodles and everything down and you have like a clear mind map, what you need to do is emphasize and highlight certain parts of the mind map by using underlining, using different colors, using different felt tips, glitter gel pens, highlighters to make certain parts of it pop. You can even like maybe outline and circle some certain parts, and then maybe make some arrows a bit bigger so you have like a clear direction and flow. Like I might use colours to colour in my doodles, or I might make these arrows from cell division to prokaryotes and eukaryotes a bit more thick, so that it's clear that there is a bigger kind of subtopic here, branching into a main topic. That way all the doodles and everything, it's quite confusing. So when you highlight and emphasize certain parts, you can create a clear direction and you can clear up some parts so that it's easier for review, because obviously you're going to be coming back to this mind map and you don't want to be coming back to it and being like, what is this? Highlight and emphasize certain parts so it's clearer for review and it's more emphasized and it's more, efficient for review. And yeah, I hope that helps, and I hope you understand now how to make a mind map in a more effective way for active recall. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section, or you can email me. My email address is in the channel bio. And anyway, I don't think I have anything left to say other than good luck with your exams, you got this, and yeah, bye guys.